When you meet the guest of our program for the first time, he seems as a very humble, intelligent man. It feels like you have known him a long time. He came to Astana as the guest of honor and the jury of the first international competition for young designers. Is a person with refined taste, even before the start of the event itself, but rather on the way from the capital's airport. He saw the city's architecture, he willingly shared his impressions from the city's architecture.
At first, I like to see the architecture, and I found a type of a very nice kind of to put buildings not so close between them, but a little larger, you know. Everything is more calm, I think, instead of Moscow or other first towns. And so the calm and the same calm I can see in the face of the people. Everybody here is very direct, a little like Italians. Direct, and you can see from their eyes.
He has a lot of work in France, just like anywhere else all over the world. But with his usual politeness and deference, during the interview, he never looked at his watch and didn't hint on a tight schedule. The crew of Persona Grata had a great opportunity to talk about Kazakhstan, about Venice, Paris, about childhood dreams and family, with a nephew of the most famous master in the fashion world, multi-billionaire, the maestro of fine arts, Pierre Cardin. Meet the successor of fashion house Pierre Cardin, Rodrigo Basilicati. Revolutionary of the fashion world, Cardin patented several hundred designs and inventions not only in the field of fashion design. Time magazine once called him a cunning fanatic, quote, who managed to write his name on everything that can be nailed, glued, sewn, screwed, snapped, replicated, or poured into bottles, closed, opened, and consumed. Today his name is on about 1,000 different products, shops, 2 theaters, restaurants, watches, perfumes, belts, handbags, wall tiles, and much more. And this name appears indispensable guarantee of quality.
Pierre Cardin, for example, is a very nice example in this sense. Prefer that people try to be himself, without copy, nobody. It's important to avoid to copy others. Otherwise, you are not a sculptor of fashion. You are just, you have a good taste, just because you choose very well and you put together. That is different, like a photograph, finally. It's a patchwork. And then in a good style, maybe. But I prefer, like Pierre Cardin, I prefer people who risks to make something that maybe is not good to see, but new is better, because you can recognize the designer. It is important not to recognize the designer because of the advertising, but because of the style. If you see a Pierre Cardin, or you see Courrèges, Paco Rabanne, a lot of designers, you recognize in 1 second. It is Paco Rabanne, without see the signature. That is important because you can live 1,000 years after in that way. It don't mean that you have to be the same every time. You can increase your way to draw, your creation. You can change a little, but every time following we have to follow our soul.
When after the war I started to create my own clothing line, around the world there were only some 2,000 fashion designers. Now there are hundreds of them. But there is no more fashion. This is a favorite quote of Pierre Cardin. But even the state of affairs does not take away the optimism in the world-famous fashion designer in order to continue to create, or even likely to invent. Rodrigo Basilicati always admires his eminent relative.
Maybe in the past he would like to be a dancer, an actor, maybe. He said that. Finally, he would like to work with artists in general, so he bought a theater in Paris 47 years ago. But the theater was of the town of Paris, common, and he started to use it to produce each year 10, 12 different operas. Produce, not buy, produce new creation. And so now he did maybe 600 different productions. Nobody could say that in the world. With his money, without asking nothing to the minister, because he thinks that otherwise you are obliged to be. So he was free, even if at the theater there was 3 people, public of 10 people, he could say, okay, I believe that this artist could be one day. He started with the first 4 pieces of, how do you say, Depardieu. He started in his theater, for example. He was nobody at the first opera. After he became what you know.
Rodrigo Basilicati is a lot like his uncle, probably with the same desire to learn something new, discover the unknown, but it is always associated with the world of art, with a beauty atmosphere.
Live myself with piano, not professionally. I was professional, but I would like to, if you want to live with it, to eat with it, you have to play 12 hours every day. You have no time, no physic, not energy to make something else. It is impossible. So for me, I said, okay, I would like to go on until the end. When I was 30, I went on, and 34, last concert, professional. And then I said, now I have to leave. But I prefer design, because I can design very simply. For me, I can make the white night, 3 white nights, one after the other, working on a table or on a seat that I did, because I like to do the prototypes. Personally, I like to do it, like sculptures. And so I couldn't imagine that one day I could work for fashion for my uncle.
The famous fashion designer even now is full of new ideas that he's going to bring into his new projects, says Rodrigo. This creative process brings Maestro a lot of positive emotions, which he now shares with his talented nephew.
I knew him very late, because I was in Venice, he was in Paris, and I met him really when he was 20, first time. I think that just the last guy of the family that he doesn't know, didn't know, so sorry, before. So when we met for the first time, you know, Pierre Cardin is like a scanner, you know. In 1 second, he can see you, who you are, what you do, and your talent and everything. I think is an instinct. But for me, it was the same. I knew him exactly in a period in which I was studying engineering in Venice, close to Venice. I was studying piano at the Liszt Academy in Budapest every month, 1 week. I was, yes, I made some prize, competition of design, interior design. Because I liked it before knowing my uncle. But I didn't know my uncle's style. I know him just in this situation when I was, in this case, when I was 20. That was the first time. So I found him incredible, because we had at the time the same way to see. For me, it was incredible, because I liked forms instead of particulars. I don't like, and he doesn't like. So colors, very important colors, not 10, but 1, 2 colors. And I'm the same in the interior design. So there was a feeling. I don't know why. There was a feeling.
Rodrigo Basilicati traveled halfway around the world to work. He's the leading representative of the fashion house. he's constantly involved in various projects, shows, and competitions. And this time, Rodrigo acts as the jury at the international competition of young designers in Astana.
I was interested because I was here in Almaty 10 years ago for other reasons. I saw it is a magic country, enormous, like Europe, I think. In this country, people are open. I see that they are open. That is very important. They say yes every time. Not maybe or no. Yes, and then we see. Like Italians a little, not French. I was interested, and finally there was the occasion. Now was the occasion to come. Instead of my uncle, he said, "I'm a little tired. I prefer that you go on my place. You know my style, you know my way to do, and you can work for me." There was 25 guys, professional drawers, fashion designers, who was in competition, and it was very strange to see that there was half of them who tried to create something really new. I think they are very open to it. Sometimes when you have a very strong story and strong traditions, long tradition, you are so attached to it. Sometimes, in Russia, for example. In Kazakhstan, you are open to make something new. I think yesterday I saw that you are attached to the tradition more than us. Maybe because your story is a big story, and don't want to lose it. It's a quality finally. But yesterday, for example, in the show, in the design show, in the competition, I saw a way to do, to compose, to draw, very interesting. Somebody used the tradition, but not excessively, not so much, and they used. It was projected on the modern, on the new way, very stylized, because here your way to see is very geometric, and that is very nice. Like form, not decoration. The form are very geometric, very. That is very nice for example, for our fashion house. The east part of world is west part of world is impressionant from the east part. So maybe inspired sometimes.
Inspired by Kazakhstan and new acquaintances, Ricardo Basilicati returns home. And the fashion house of Pierre Cardin is not walls, not a view from the window. It is a sense of security, comfort, and endless creativity. And most importantly, in the house, says Rodrigo, there is a complete understanding.
But we will see, because it's a real choice of Cardin. Maybe if somebody would like to buy his fashion house with the good ideas and maybe in those years, maybe accept. Or if nobody arrives, maybe you would like to make somebody like me to continue. In every case, artistically, I'm the continuation. I would like, he will like, but depends from a lot of things. He never decided. I think he's thinking something, but I'm ready in every case.